Hamjambo familia. Welcome to the Black Hot Network 54 Correspondence Show. A show where we get to discuss different trending and topical matters across the beautiful continent of Africa. My name is Spikes, and I want to hope that you are doing well on yet another wonderful Thursday. When we get to Thursday, people just want to reflect and focus on some throwbacks. And of course, when you're talking about throwbacks, we shall be telling you a little bit about some African history to do with the country known as Ethiopia, which was actually also formerly known as Abyssinia. We shall be getting into that particular throwback pipe. But today we shall also be focusing on what is happening in the present day. And this has to do with the matters of the COVID pandemic. And of course, we have also seen the situation with the different African countries trying to adopt their vaccinations programs. I shall be getting to update you on what is happening on that particular end. I also want to urge us to really head over to the network website. It's www.blackhotfarnet.com. And once you are on the website, you can create your own personal profile. And once you do, it's very, very easy for you to interact with the rest of the family. You just have to click on the show page. And once you are on the show page, you can click on the community chat and just key in your, put in your info right there, and I'll be able to interact with the rest of the family. You can be able to engage on questions. You can also share your thoughts regarding different matters, and you can also be able to make your own suggestions on different topics or different matters that we get to address, like right here on the Black Hot Fire Network. If you also want to get a hold of us on our different social media platforms, we are on Instagram, Black Hot Fire Network. We are also on Twitter, Black Hot Fire, and also on Facebook, Black Hot Fire Network Radio Station. Very interactive and social on those particular platforms. And we're hoping even to get on other different platforms where we can be able to interact with you much more better. But remember, the call is really to join us on the official website, because on these other platforms, you never know. These days, there is a lot of, people being prevented from sharing the information, and that is censorship. But on the official website, we can be able to share matters in a much more open space or in a much more convenient environment without all these blocking. Because we have seen, for example, the president himself, who has been known to be the strongest or the most powerful man in the world, Donald Trump, being get shot. He did share some information on Twitter, and it was labeled as misinformation, or really information that was really misleading. But nonetheless, on the Black Hot Fire Network, we really purpose to give you information that is reliable and factual, information that you can actually act on, actionable information, and information can also get to impact your life positively. We do have blogs on the website. We also do have some podcasts on the website. We have shows such as the Breaking Point, the Africa Today Show, the 54 Correspondence Show, the Coming African Diary, the Voices of the Motherland, and we are hoping to have to add on to that particular programs that you do have on the network radio with your support. And therefore, I want to thank everyone that has been supporting the Black Hot Fire Network. Your support is not in vain, and we hope that we can even be able to do much more work on the ground. Yesterday on the Africa Today Show, we were talking about the history of Zimbabwe and how different groups went into Zimbabwe to fight for the independence of that particular country. And you realize that these days, when talking about independence and freedom, we have not seen much of it, especially over this time when we do have the COVID-19. People have been restricted from moving. People have been restricted from traveling from different areas into other areas. And what has been happening in Zimbabwe is that people have continued to suffer in dire economic situations because they are not able to fend for their own livelihoods. And therefore, there is an over-reliance on the government, and the government is also not able to really do much when it comes to improving the welfare of the people of Zimbabwe. But yesterday, the matter of the freedom of the people of Zimbabwe came out, and we were sharing with us one particular book, which is called Guns and Rain. And maybe perhaps you might want to check that particular book out. This has to do with the history of the people of Zimbabwe and the freedom fighters. Is actually available on Amazon. Maybe perhaps you can get to check it out and see if it will be of interest, getting to learn a little bit about the history of Guns and Rain in this particular country. It's written by David Land. You can check it out. And there is also other different recommendations that we shared with you on Africa Today Show, in case you would like to go back and check out what is happening I would like to urge you really to go back and see what's good. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. I do not take your company for granted. I do really get to appreciate every other time when we get to link up as a Black Hot Fire Network and talk about African matters. The goal really with this particular show is really to share information about the African continent, information perhaps that may have been reported subjectively on other different platforms, and just getting to set matters right. And also the goal is also to inspire the spirit of a collective African consciousness, because we need to unite as African people. And we have been talking about the spirit that was of the man Kwame Nkrumah when he gave his speech, at the meeting of the African Organization of African Union, which was the OAU, and he was trying to inspire the spirit of Pan-Africanism, and also the spirit of people just getting together and having a collective African consciousness. If you do remember correctly, Kwame Nkrumah, of course, he was removed from that particular position when there was a coup in his own country of Ghana. And today we shall also be focusing on what is going on with Ghana. But I would like to hope that the people of Ghana have a better sense of Pan-Africanism. I also do would like to believe that the people of South Africa would have a more sense of Pan-Africanism, but have been proven wrong time and again, because I have seen some of the things that go on in places like South Africa. But Ghana, having that leader who is known as the father of Pan-Africanism in the early 60s, that is a country that perhaps would have a better understanding of how to connect the people across the African continent. But talking about Ghana, there has been a recent development that has to do with the COVID-19, and this is the closure of our parliament, because there have been so many cases that have been reported of the COVID-19 in this particular country. And what is happening is that the country is going to shut down for a period of about 3 weeks, because at least 17 members of parliament and at least 151 support staff have been reported to be infected with the COVID-19. When you're talking about these numbers, the 17 members of parliament, the 115 members of staff, what happens is that we also have to look at the number of deaths that have been recorded nationally. These are 482 deaths, and it has also reported a 73,000 and 3 coronavirus cases. These was statistics from around the 9th of February, which was on Monday. Was it on Monday? Yes, I believe on Monday or on Tuesday. And I do believe, even if there is a closure of parliament and this move has been necessitated because of the rise numbers of the COVID cases, I do believe that perhaps Ghana is not really addressing the matter as they're supposed to be doing, even though the country does not have high numbers like South Africa. South Africa is a country on the continent that has had the biggest hit. If you're thinking about Africa, you realize that in South Africa, they got to a point and declared over 500,000 positive cases being recorded in South Africa, which is the largest number. I believe even in some other Asian countries or even European countries, they have not reported such humongous numbers. And in South Africa, there has also been the matter of the mutation, which we talked about on our previous episode on a Tuesday, about the mutation in that particular country. And you realize right now there has been the different vaccinations that have come into the country. Some of them include the AstraZeneca. Some of them have another different kinds of. I think even Moderna is also available in South Africa. I might confirm that particular fact. But what has happened is that there has been the question of this mutation, and I do believe when talking about the mutation of the virus, it changes over time. You can have one mutation, and then after maybe a period of I do not know how regularly it might mutate, but even after maybe a period of 2 months, you might have about another mutation on the same virus, the coronavirus, a mutation on the same. And therefore, even with the matter of the virus, I'm not really convinced. I'm not really convinced that any of these vaccinations will be actually the solution. I do not believe the vaccinations will actually be the solution, because you might have used a particular vaccination, for example, the AstraZeneca, and then 2 months down the line, we are also talking about the mutation of this particular one. And then you now have to have another vaccination for the mutated coronavirus. Those are some of the questions that we are asking ourselves right here on the 54 Correspondence Show. And in case you do have other information on that, I would like to know from an expert, perhaps, on the issue of talking about viruses. But nonetheless, before we get into more matters on what is happening across the continent of Africa, I wanted to share with us briefly on some interesting facts, because when you're talking about Ethiopia, you realize that it had a different name, which was Abyssinia, and it also has a history of independence, because they say to be the only country which was not colonized on the continent of Africa. But there are so many different people who have said, even though it has been said not to have been colonized, you realize that there was a lot of influence of the Italians, and even till today, when you're talking about countries such as Djibouti and Eritrea, in Eritrea, if you go to Eritrea, you'll actually realize that is some sort of a small Italy. And Eritrea, of course, was a part of the larger Ethiopia some years back. The same case to do with with Djibouti, which is also another tiny country. But nonetheless, I want to share with us some interesting, really interesting facts to do with Ethiopia. And one of the facts is that you get to realize, apart from not being colonized, one of the other facts is that it has the GDP of about 174.7 billion dollars, $174.7 billion when you talk about the GDP of this particular country. And there is also the nominal GDP per capita of 1,900 GDP per capita. 1,900 is a nominal GDP per capita of this particular country. Ethiopia is a federal parliamentary republic, and even though there is a federal government, there are also the regional governments in this particular country. And recently we have heard about the conflict between the federal government and the forces allied to different regional governments, and especially the Tigray regional government. And therefore you get to realize that this is a kind of a system where you do have the national elections are taking place, and they were supposed to take place last year, but they were pushed into this year. And of course, the Ethiopian calendar has a 13-month that has just 5 or 6 days. And Ethiopia was established from around 980 BC, and is one of the oldest countries on earth. If you go into any historical books, you will actually realize that Ethiopia is existing, and I shall be sharing more facts about Ethiopia right here on the 54 Correspondence Show. This is the Africa Radio for 21st century. Welcome back to the 54 Correspondence Show on the Blackwood Fire Network. I had said that earlier on I will be sharing some interesting facts about the beautiful country of Ethiopia. And personally, I have not been to Ethiopia myself, but I purpose that very soon I might be able to get the opportunity to visit Ethiopia and see what's good in that beautiful country. Some other interesting facts apart from the calendar, you get to realize is that that there is nearly 1 in 5 Ethiopian girls. Nearly 1 in 5 Ethiopian girls is married before she gets the age of 15 years old, which is really, when it comes to marriage, the matter of the culture in that particular country, you realize that there is the hiring of young adults, young teenagers. And there is nearly more than 80 different languages spoken in Ethiopia. I do believe that Ethiopia also has about 81 different ethnic groups. And the problem comes in when it comes to the issue of the resources. You do find that most of the communities there, most of them are largely pastoralist and also nomadic, and therefore the pressure on resources might eventually result to conflicts between different communities in Ethiopia. But nonetheless, you get to realize that there is about 81 tribes in Ethiopia, and about 80 languages in all 81 languages also in this particular country. The oldest fossilized skeleton of humans was found in this country. The skeleton is thought to be over 3 million years ago. If you're talking about archaeology or archaeological discoveries on the continent of Africa, there are three particular countries which are very, very, popular when it comes to archaeological sites. One of the countries is Tanzania, the other country is Ethiopia, and the other country is Kenya. If you want to go and do your own archaeological research, then I believe some of the best places where big, rich archaeological discoveries have been made are Ethiopia, Tanzania, and Kenya. And even till today, recently, there was some of the fossil tools that were found to have been used nearly 3 million years ago, which actually shows that people have been existing and living in Africa for the longest time. The national dish of Ethiopia is what? A type of spicy stew. These particular people also do consume injera. If you're ever in Ethiopia and you walk into a restaurant or you walk into a hotel and maybe you want to have some nice lunch, you can actually request for what, or you can also request for injera, which is really a traditional food in that particular country. Ethiopia has a total of 9 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, including the holy city of Lalibela. When talking about archaeological sites, when talking about archaeological sites or heritage sites, national heritage sites, you do find that Ethiopia has so many of them. And in case you would ever love to tour, and see the history of this particular area, it would be one of the areas maybe perhaps really to enjoy. Let me share with us a little bit of the incredible lock of Aralibela, and so that you can also get to see what we are talking about right here on the Black Hot Fire.
Download Glovo, subscribe to Glovo Prime, and get unlimited free deliveries throughout December.
Lalibela is one of the holiest cities in Ethiopia, and in the 12th century, King Lalibela attempted to build a new Jerusalem. There are 11 different churches, each remarkably carved from single boulders of rock and chiseled from the top down. The series of rock-cut churches at Lalibela are an extraordinary sight to see. It's about 9 a.m. this morning. We're here at the most famous church here in Lalibela, St. George's Church, and you can see it down below. So there's only one entrance, and it's a trench to the bottom.